Well, here's an example, I guess, is so when I want to respect everybody, but I don't want to tolerate everybody. And maybe I mean I've heard sexual dominants are like pickier in a way. And I am very picky about who I let into my inner circle. Like I'm very open on one hand, but who I tell my day-to-day life, I'm very, very, very picky. And like for what was I saying? Okay. So I remember sort of this was a thought experiment I was talking about with my friend. It's like, what if you are having a great conversation with somebody and that, or like a new friend, and then you notice they have like a Confederate flag sticker or something? What would you do? And my friend Crystal, who's an ENFP, shout out, she said she would ask them why they believe that, blah, 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 and try and have a merging discussion or whatever. I personally, there are so many great people in the world. I don't want to waste my time on that. I know that's really rude. Maybe it's rude. Maybe it's picky. I don't know. But like, there are certain things about people that I just know that I don't vibe with. And why would I waste my time there? I think it's more respectful to just leave them alone. Like, yeah. And there are certain things about people that I think that there would be more conflict if we continue to try and merge.
And I think, okay, so then one of the things, so going back to the Donald Trump example and everything, I actually do have like, you know, people that I know that may have voted for him, you know, stuff like that. And then like, you know, either or, and I don't mind continuing to interact with them. It's when they might, I think it's the mutual understanding, not necessarily like shrinking yourself, but I guess the mutual understanding.
Shrinking, that makes sense actually for me too.
Yeah, like if you have this like impetus to repeatedly talk a lot about how great Donald Trump is and everything, yeah, then probably stay over there, you know? But if it's like I voted for him or whatever, but I'm not really like that bent on, you know, talking so much about him.
Here's the thing. I don't need the peace. I want to be loved for who I am. And if they believe that, they probably aren't going to, because who I am is different than that. And so why would to me, that sounds like abandonment. Why would I want to be close to someone that is going to hurt me and going to abandon me?
Wow. Okay. Quick side.
Or disappoint me.
I thought this was pretty cool. So like I said, at the end of the book, they're comparing the 2s and 9s. I'm just going to briefly read through the highlighted section. 2s and 9s are two types that share a lot of traits in common. They both tend to focus on others, and so they often forget or neglect their own needs and wants in favor of allowing others' needs and desires to be in the foreground. Both styles over-adjust to others, 9s blending with others' agendas to create harmony and reduce tension and separation. 2s and 9s can both make good mediators because they easily see and understand others' perspectives and opinions. In fact, they can both usually see others' points of views more clearly than their own. People of both types have little or no contact with their anger, uncomfortable with anger, and oriented to maintaining positive connections with others. Both 2s and 9s regularly avoid conflict, though again, some 2s can be more open to conflict at times when their more emotional nature drives them there.
Yes.
Both 2s and 9s can engage in passive-aggressive behavior, as it may be hard for them to assert themselves and express anger in more direct ways out of a fear that they will break important connections with other people. And then the last thing is 9s are more democratic and do not make purposeful efforts to pursue connections with particular people in the ways that 2s typically do. 2s tend to have a more active, higher energy level and a faster pace than 9s, who usually appear more relaxed and easygoing.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, okay, so I'm realizing something about myself right now, is that I think that, okay, so sexual 2s want intimacy and all that, and I think that part of that, and I mean, they could be pickier, they want to be your special friend, they want to be all that. I think that, you know, it's a coping mechanism, and I think that if I'm picky about people, or if I don't want to tolerate certain behavior, it's because I don't want to be hurt. And that really is it. And I kind of just said that earlier, but it's really sinking into me that like the reason why I only let certain people in, and the reason why I will, you know, sometimes I try and say things to try and test people to see if there's someone that I can become close with. Sometimes conflict could be good for that, to know. to know who am I going to open myself up to. I'm very sensitive.
Gotcha.
Like, I don't, that peace that you crave, that means nothing to me. That means absolutely nothing to me. I want that, like, I want to like have someone know my soul and love it. And I want to know theirs.
And maybe that's I guess, because it's like I want that too, but maybe kind of like what it was.
Are you a two fix?
The things that am I what?
Are you like a two fix? Do you have a 2 in your tri type?
So I tested as that, but I don't really believe I don't really know what my tri type is, honestly. I got 9 to 7, I think, but I don't know. But I think what's going on over here is that, so one of the things that it did say is that 9s who tend to be more emotionally steady, and like, so 2s tend to feel a wider range of stronger emotions more frequently than 9s who tend to be more emotionally steady and even. So when you're talking about like getting to know each other's soul and everything, I think that I don't think I know. In fact, on my channel, that's like the thing that I most talk about. Like, I want to merge. I want
to. And I also think all ENFJs can probably relate to that to some extent. Right. You know.
But I think that maybe like my soul is not as
needy.
Yeah.
I just thought of a metaphor actually, is it's almost like it feels like I'm like gathering berries, like a caveman, like trying to like pick like what feels ripe. Like that's how it feels. Because why would I pick something that's not ripe? What if it's poisonous? That's the sort of discernment that that's the vibe I'm literally like, I'm vetting people. Like, are you going to hurt me? Like, literally, are you going to hurt me?
And I think for me, the only way that somebody, well, not the only way potentially, but like the main ways that I could think of somebody like hurting me is if they misconstrue my intention, and if they like attack what I believe and like call me like stupid for it or something, like make it seem like, Denzel, how could you believe something like that? That's so dumb. And they're not open to like understanding it as how I'd respect them in that way. But them believing something else or whatever, that won't necessarily bother me.
It bothers me because it makes me feel like, what if I'm not enough? What if I'm wrong? Like, I want to be loved. I want to be embraced. I'm not embraced. And I know I like 2s are not, it's not like we're just super helpful. Like, I get that there's like really disgusting behavior here. Like, I'm like sweating because like I hate the idea of 2s. Like, every time I hear about it, I'm like, I don't want to be a 2. You know what I mean? Like, it's pathetic.
Oh man, nah, don't say that. I don't think that it's pathetic. Like,
I mean, I just like irrationally feel like everyone hates me like all the time, and I'm always working to be not hated, like, and find my people. You know, like I it's like I'm very like wary if someone's gonna hurt me, and I'm very sensitive.
How would you say, if you don't mind me asking, like, what are the ways that somebody could hurt you?
That's the thing. 2s are so sensitive. And okay, correct me if I'm wrong if you're like super into Enneagram, but this is my impression I'm having. That if I'm not finding intimacy, love, then what is the point? What is the point of this interaction? If I'm not knowing your soul, if you're not knowing mine, if we're not helping each other become better people with true like mutual respect, then what is the point?
Well,
because I just feel like an alien, or I just feel like it's very easy. I would say probably for a 2, it's easier to feel triggered into feeling like unlovable. Like, if I'm not helping and loving, if I'm not useful, or if I'm not helpful to this person, then I'm like am deeply flawed. If I'm not being of service and loving and helping you because you don't want my help, that feels terrible. That's like rejection. And it seems like you want to be at peace with you know, that sort of web where that peace is not enough for me. Like, if that person doesn't want my help, then why would I waste my time? It feels like rejection, and it feels like I'm not enough. And it feels like sometimes I need to go back to the drawing board with who I am, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That, I think honestly speaking, that's explained more about you than anything else that I've watched on your channel or seen you tweet or anything, because from that perspective, it's like, okay, that makes sense a lot, because I relate to that, and it's like I definitely want people like know my soul, stuff like that. Well, my people
I
too.
like really do.
Yeah, and I do too, but I think my
and I think peace would be cool.
I think it's because the differences don't turn me off in a way. So it's ironic, because you said that you think that nines want everybody to be the same, but if I'm understanding you correctly, you want to find people who have the same views and desires and everything as you do. So you want to be surrounded by the people who are like the same. While with me, I don't mind having like the differing perspectives, because it's like, oh, this is cool because I can just learn from these people, but we can still that's our way of exploring each other's souls. Like, oh, you believe in past lives and stuff like that? Like, tell me more about that, and it's like,
well, it's not that I don't accept and love other like differences. It's that I don't want them to not accept me. It's like then the fear comes up. Then the fear comes up of not being enough.
Okay.
So it's more like, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I've had lots of friends that have been just very different from me, but like that is just something that I would say that probably other twos would look for, which is before you even begin to open up to someone to try and see, can they even handle me? Do they even want to love me? Because that would be terrible if they didn't.
Yeah.
It's sort of vetting people, sort of testing to see if they can handle me, because do you even want to handle me? Do you even want to know the real me? It's like obnoxious, like I know I am, but like, it's, and then I think like the disintegrating to 8 is like, if people are being like mean to me, then I just go away. And then the 4 is like, I'm going to try and sort of be special to get people to know, to love me. They're both different tools to say go away, or like a little magnet of, hey, I'm special. But they both help me feel, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't know about like you, if you would relate to this, if this is an ENFJ thing, but like going like through school and stuff, like just like I would cry about something like 2 of my friends hung out without me and didn't think to invite me. I would like cry and be like, I'm not enough for them. They must hate me. And then like feel like they hate me. And then they would be their job to like then deal with whatever my emotions were about it. Or I would be like, you don't even want to hang out with me anymore. I that was, yeah.
And I think for me, it's like, it goes back to the narcotizing thing. I do that so much. Like when I found out what that word was, Jamila would not let me hear the end of it.
I don't even know what that word is.
It's pretty much going to sleep. Like as soon as any feelings or desires rise up in me that may, I guess, cause conflict with somebody else, chokehold.
Oh. See, I want to be like, that's a great way to see if this person is gonna love me, is if they would, how they can handle that piece of me.
Interesting. Yeah. And for me, it's like, that was one of the things about the 2 that I was always like, And then in one of my profiling sessions, when I was asked, like, do you ever feel like you're not loved? I was like, okay, honestly, I don't ever recall feeling like, oh, I'm not loved. Which, yeah, I never felt that way. I just felt like I know that these people love me, but they don't love me the way that I want them to, or like they don't appreciate me or, you know, respect me the way that I'd like for them to.
I wish that I had a friend like
then
you.
I'm like, no, but you know, it doesn't really matter. I don't really matter, I guess, that much. I don't know, you know, not to get like depressing, but I start thinking stuff like that. It's like, oh, but you know, whatever, you know, well, oh dang, they didn't invite me. Huh. Oh, okay. I mean, I
Oh
guess.
my God, that would ruin my life. That ruins
So it's like we both have that, like this. So like for you, if you so you just said like if those people like went out and did something and they didn't invite you, then you'd like cry about it and everything. And I especially knowing that you're two, it's like now I understand that, because now you're saying like, dang, like am I enough for them? Like, you know, like do they even love me and all of that? For me, it's more like.
But it also is sort of this thing of like, look, but I did all of this to you. How dare you not realize that I'm a good friend?
Yeah.
There was actually an instance where like 3 of my good friends from high school went on a spring break trip without me. And I sent them all a text. I'm not proud of this. I sent them a group text while they were there.
Wow.
Saying, I'm really upset that I'm finding out that you guys are all there without me. And I didn't even get an invite. And I was like, I'm seeing this from Facebook. I thought we were close. Like, if I have ever done anything to hurt you, please tell me, because I will do anything to repay you.
Wow.
That's the desperation.
Yeah,
that's how sensitive.
I get it now. I get it. I would respond super differently. Like, I mean, that happens. I've said it in like the type of person that I am. Literally, narcotization, whatever the word is. I'm just like, I'm literally just like, I could not ever see myself texting people saying like, you know, I can't ever see myself doing that. Instead, they'd like see me and I'd still act like cool and everything, but I'm more to like numb myself out of that. Like, dang, like, well, Denzel, I guess you just weren't like good enough for them. But I mean, I can't they can't help the fact that they don't like me as much as I would have liked them to like me.
I want the opportunity to fix it. I want to show them that I am a good friend. Or if they aren't my friend, I want them out of my life now so that I stop doing things for them and wasting my time. Because 2s, it's like I need to be validated for the love I'm giving. Or like with most of my friends, I do more for them than they do for me. And that's just how it is. And I don't honestly expect anything else because I have a lot of energy. But I'm not going to continue. So I'm not actually looking for people to give to me the same amount that I'm giving to them, because it's almost a power thing, and it's disgusting. I want to give more so that I know that you're never going to leave me, because why would you? And that was, like a huge thing in a lot of my relationships. I mean, it's that power thing, wanting to give more. And then this is how I've been screwed over by people, because sometimes they see that and they're like, oh, this girl's so desperate that she's going to give more. We're going to latch onto that. And so that's what I'm on the lookout for now, because people see 2s and they see how overeager they are and they want to use that.
Got you. Yeah.
And so I am afraid of that happening to me again, but that's how the 2 wields their power, is by giving just a little bit more than what you're giving. And so whenever I send a text that's confrontational, the piece is unimportant to me. What's important to me is giving and loving with nothing in return. And I would so much rather figure out what's going on and put it all on the table than numb it. I never want to numb anything.
Do you see the irony in how like we switched? Because now it's like, because then I'm inclined to say that, well, sending that text, why would you put forth that energy to them? This
I'm always putting forth that
tell me like, oh, but you're trying to like, you know, mend with all these people and all that. But then in that situation, I would just simply realize like, dang, they don't like me the way that I thought that they did or whatever. Or like, oh, I see where I stand with them now. Okay. I guess it's time to either like just step back, and then I'll just find my like another group of people instead. I don't have anything against these people because I'm inclined to think like you always say, like, I can't force them to like me.
Well, when it gets to that point, my ego is so bruised that I need to be told what I did wrong so that I don't repeat the same mistake. When it gets to that point of desperation.
That doesn't mean that because I wouldn't see it as like I did anything wrong.
That's the thing. I think I'm wrong. That's the thing. Twos think that we're unlovable.
Yeah. See, that's so funny because we've really switched. Because then in my head, it's like, and I think maybe that's also why, in your perspective, like when I'm talking about like, you know, just being cool with everyone, correct me if I'm wrong, but because twos work so hard to like for the people they love and everything, then it's like you're thinking of the energy that you use for the people that you love now for everybody. While with me, it's like, no, I'm not. I don't, even for the people that I'm with, I don't like work super, super, super hard for them to love me. I feel like they do love me by just me being myself. And
I don't have that luxury of thinking that me just being myself is enough.
Wow.
That's why I'm so extra.
Okay.
Like, yeah, I mean, that's it.
Because once again, correct me if I'm wrong, you've worked so hard for people to like you that now it's kind of like you've gone like, you know, well, F everyone, you know, if you don't like me, then forget it. Like, I don't care anymore. I don't care. Yes. I just want the people. Okay.